Is it possible for someone to be unaware that their current behavior or emotional responses are influenced by their unresolved childhood traumas? How can such individual gain awareness of the subconscious effects, if it's possible?
It's very possible because we see our parents as perfect.
Oh,
Every child sees their parent as perfect.
true.
Yeah, so if you can't see that your parents are imperfect, and most likely they did some things that hurt you most of the time unintentionally, and forgive them and heal from them, you wouldn't know. You just consider that reaction is all right. That reaction is normal. For example, a lot of individuals, when you meet their parents, you just understand their behavior. Say,
Oh, no, I got you. No problem. Yes, it's true. That has happened.
So that's it. Because your blind spot to your parents, it's your father. Your father is
like you're Superman.
Yeah.
So how would you ever say, oh, my dad has anger issues? That's why he shouts on my mom and me sometimes and we run to the room. No, my dad is having a bad day. We're the ones that triggered him.
Hi everyone, how are we today? Welcome to today's edition of M.O.M, Mind Over Matters. I am in my humble self, Shalapo Metawarati. You can call me Muya Fateh, for short, as usual. So today is a special day. Something very special is happening today. And I'm so excited about it. So today we're talking about a very, very intense topic, which is when the past lingers, the effects of childhood trauma on mental health of an individual. But because I don't want to just come here and give you something without having full information like you need, or because I love and am so intentional about your mental health, I have a special guest with me today. And this person is someone who is going to give us all the in-depth and all the information we need about this topic. So we'll go home so fulfilled and filled. And please, excuse me, I need to use my where I recorded her intro because it's a mouthful, and you guys have to understand how much I value your mental health to tell you how. So you need to see all of her profile. Just listen. So with me here, please help me to welcome Mrs. Anthonia Bisola Otunla. She's an award-winning mental health clinician, a researcher, a trauma specialist, a certified safe and sound protocol, a rest and restore protocol practitioner. She combines 18 years of clinical experience with advanced training from the University of Kiel, UK. That's number one. She also went to Dunquil University, that's in USA, and that's for the Trauma Research Foundation in USA. She's also a clinical director of Thrive Metamorphosis Healthcare and lead of the Catholic Mental Health Ministry in Nigeria. Okay. She pioneers evidence-based trauma healing through nervous system regulation, conflict resolution, and culturally adapted interventions. A Mandela Washington Fellow, Trauma Research Foundation Scholar, and Unite Health Social Impact Scholar. Anthonia bridges the global expertise with grassroots impact, empowering individuals and communities to transform adversity into resilience. You should please help me give her a round of applause, please. Help me welcome Miss Anthonia on board. Good to have you here. I'm so happy you made it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on your program.
Oh, it's an honor. It's a pleasure to have you here, sister. According to your profile, your anonymous profile, I worship that, literally. Ada, please, can you give us some insights or more in-depth about childhood trauma and its effects on mental health as an individual, as a grown-up individual? And please enlighten us more on this.
Okay, so childhood trauma, which is otherwise known as adverse childhood experiences, are events or experiences that happens to a child before the age of 18 that affects their formation, especially their nervous system regulation. As human beings, we're built for social connection. You will see that the average happy child, when they see anybody, they run to them with open arms and a smile because that child is well regulated. There's really no major trauma in the child's life.
Yeah.
So when we talk about trauma, everyone tends to put a lot of focus on physical abuse, beating the child, slapping the children. But research has shown that the worst form of childhood trauma is emotional neglect. So you can have a child growing up in a very wealthy home where the parents provide everything, but there's no emotional connection with the child. The child has no one to share their concerns with, their worries with. There's no one to validate the child. There's no one to tell the child that they are loved and they are special. The child just feels like a project on which money is spent. So the worst form of childhood trauma is actually emotional neglect. So in as much as we have physical abuse, we have emotional abuse, we have sexual abuse, emotional neglect, and physical neglect. We also have children who grow up in homes where domestic violence takes place. This is also a form of childhood trauma. Children who have to experience their parents going through separation or divorce is also a form of childhood trauma. And children who grow up in communities where there's a lot of violence. We'll talk about Israel, to come to Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria. We know what happens with children, some of the parents being killed in the farmland. So those kind of kids are going through another type of trauma. So all these are different types of adverse childhood experiences, which we generally call childhood trauma.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much for that. So me as a human being, okay, fine. We all have our own different shares of traumatic childhood in one different phases of one of the other. But I used to think the height of trauma was physical. Yeah. Until now that you said it, I used to think the higher form of mental childhood abuse was physical. That's why till today, I don't even know how I'm going to raise my kids, God help me, because that's why till today I can't stand a child being beaten. As in just just hearing the sound of children crying, it just gives me this cringe. Like, oh, okay, so the worst one is okay. Now I can relate to so many things now. Thank you so much for this information. You're welcome. Okay, so please, I have a few questions to ask you, if you don't mind.
Please go ahead.
So, basically, in reality of the adult life, again, there are many individuals, be it knowingly or unknowingly, we carry unresolved, traumatic experiences, because most of the time, people are dealing with repressed emotions or with repressed, traumatic experiences that they've not even had the opportunity to deal with. But, the usual Nigerian slogan, we move, everybody looking for how to hustle and bustle and make money. So that's why even sometimes people tend to overreact or react to things in certain ways, but not even knowing that the way they react to things are actually mostly based on the way they were brought up as a child. So everything still boils down to childhood trauma and childhood upbringing that, shapes our personality as human. So the first question I have is, how can individuals who struggle with emotional expression due to childhood trauma learn to express themselves in a healthy way without being misunderstood or labeled as emotionally extreme with their emotions?
Okay, so for persons who have difficulty expressing their emotions, that is, most of the time they tend to show things people might call hyper reactions to things that happen around them. It's self-awareness. You have to just become informed with yourself. Like, you know what triggers you as an individual. You need to know what your triggers are and decrease the amount of times you expose yourself to your trigger. A lot of the time we say one of the ways to heal is you keep exposing yourself to something. That actually leads to numbing. It doesn't make you heal. What you need to do is you need to know what suits you, what calms you, what makes you happy. So if you know you have a problem, a challenge with expressing yourself or then overreacting to when things happen, you find ways and give yourself a template. There's a difference between I feel angry and I am angry. You are not angry. Angry is not your name. You are Sholabomi. So you feel angry. It's a feeling. And what you say to yourself, why I mention emotional neglect, you need to understand that the template we have is why emotional neglect is one of the worst. Emotional neglect makes a child feel I am not valued. And the reason why people tend to shout or express themselves in violent ways is because they are seeking attention, to be heard. They were not heard as kids. Nobody paid attention to them. No one told them their value. So when people hurt them again, it's a repetition of that wound that is there, that hasn't healed, and you're coming to add salt to it. So
Triggers.
they just blow on you. So it has nothing to do with what's happening currently. It's their history that is repeating itself. So the person needs to get into the awareness that I feel angry right now when somebody does this to me. So when you feel it, own your feeling. You don't have to say something. We need to learn to move from reactions to responses. And what the difference is with responses, you have options. Blowing up is one, the choice. Keeping quiet is another. Telling the person that what you said has hurt me, I would like to take 5 minutes to just process this, and then I'll get back to you with the feedback. These are options. But what happens with people that traumatized is there's no option because the brain goes into survival mode. So the only option they see,
Fight or flight.
exactly, they can't engage the logical brain. It's gone offline. So it's about that self-awareness of knowing you always have options. You can always move from reactions to responses.
Oh, wow. You need to give me my flowers. You see how much I love you? I love you and your mental health. Oh, no, okay. I think I'm not learning more stuff. Let me enjoy this. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that very beautiful answer. So I have another question.
Okay.
So is it truly possible to overcome childhood trauma? And if so, what are the most effective therapeutic or recovery approaches currently available, and how can affected individuals begin their healing journey?
Okay.
If it's possible to heal from childhood trauma.
The very first, it is possible to heal from childhood trauma. Most of those who are trauma experts in the world today actually experience childhood trauma, and they're doing fine. So it's possible to heal from childhood trauma. Secondly, yes, there are internationally approved approaches for healing from childhood trauma. And we have trauma-informed cognitive behavior therapy. We have safe and sound protocol. We have somatic experiencing. We have compassionate inquiry. There are different processes that have been evaluated internationally, and they certify that they do well. So we have processes where some of them, we call them bottom up. So that means it works with you, with the body, because we also have trauma sensitive movements like exercises and things you do that helps to heal the brain. And then you also have the top to bottom, which has to do with like trauma informed cognitive behavior therapy. But individually as a person, what can you do? The first thing is evaluate your circle. The 5 closest people to you determine what your world and your circle is like. What do these people contribute to your life? What do they say to you? How do they treat you? How do they value you? Are you respected? Are you gossiped about when you get up from the table? Do you permit people to talk down to you and you take it as one of those things we're just yapping ourselves? When you start to evaluate the 5 closest people to you, ensure these are people who are contributing to you.
Positively.
Are you moving forward with them? Because you see, the narrative you allow people to say, it gets embedded in your brain. And the brain is so funny that whatever you feed it is what manifests in your life. For example, some people would say, oh, I find myself in abusive relationships all the time. There's something that is attracting you to people that are abusive and tends to come from a traumatic childhood. And if you keep reinforcing it by those that are around you now, like you have friends that when you go out, oh, they tend to talk to you, oh, you've even gained 5 kg since we last saw you. Are you imagine? Are you not watching your weight? Really? Yeah, my friend. There are 100 different ways you can say that very nicely. And most of all, those who love you won't correct you in front of others. They will do it privately and say it kindly. And they would always, one thing you can always say about someone who truly cares about you is they would want to help you become better. So if you're not with people who promote you, or when you succeed, you're helping you say, oh, I want you to be better. I'm celebrating your wins with you. And they're like, oh, so that's what you did. Oh, okay. So you have a podcast and people are watching. Yeah, okay. Congratulations. Oh. This person is not really on your side, because a lot of the time, yes, our childhood has happened. We want to heal from it, but then our circle hasn't changed. So we're reinforcing what has happened in childhood, and we need to start breaking those patterns by choosing people who feed us, who heal our nervous systems and move us towards healing.
Wow. Oh, thank you very much. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I got lost in thoughts for a second. Right. Yes, you're very right about this, because, this example you made about, the whole podcast thing, the few of my friends that I told about is, oh my God, they make me feel like a celebrity. So that's why I don't know. You're really right about it. And they make me feel very good about it. And, they're always encouraging me. Okay, how about you do this next? How about you do that? Oh man, I love your last show. It was really, really educating. Oh, my friend, I'm so proud of you. They're posting me. And I feel very good. And I'm like, okay, now what you just said made me realize I have a right set of, circle. In my circle, I have the right set of people Of course, there's just one. There's always going to be a black sheep. We can't even escape that one. But still, even the black sheep in the circle said it's not even blackened. It's like gray sheep, because you cannot come and tell me what I do not want to hear. I'm here to literally change it for you. Don't bring me down. I'm that kind of person. I make it very, like I'm a certain statement to people around me that this is what I want. This is what I want to be treated, and this is how I want to be treated. You can't bring me down and think everything is going to be fine just because you give me some space. We have to talk about it. Me as a person, one of the ways I get to heal or I get to get over situation is at first, I might go quiet. The only reason why I'll go quiet when you disrespect me is because I respect you. Now, my silence goes like this. I go quiet, then I try to process the whole thoughts. Then in my head, I'm like, why would you even do this? Why would you say this? I don't deserve to be told something like this. I expected a better action from you. Then why would you even expect a better reaction from me when you don't even know how to do better? So many things goes through my head. Then after a few minutes or maybe a couple of hours, it can even take me days to process it. Depends on the weight of what you have done or said to me. Then I come back to you, then we'll talk about it. And I realize even while trying to talk to you about it, you're not even trying to understand my anger. You're still trying to hold on to the fact that yes, what you did was right. Situations like this, I just stay away from those people. Like, no. You're not my person. That's the way. And I do respect when if people have to treat me that way too, because I don't dish out what I can't take. So I don't expect people to take what I cannot take from them either. So thank you very much. That was very helpful. So another question is, what role can the people around the trauma survivor, their family, friends, and the community as a whole play in supporting their healing process? And also, are there responsibilities or strategies, assigned to the government or by the government to help these people to adopt, support trauma recovery on a larger scale? And what kind of tools or strategy are thought to support healing, basically?
Okay. So first of all, the most important thing is your presence, being there for them. But then when you come with your presence, come with compassion and be willing to listen. Not necessarily ask questions, just listen to what they have to say. And then you listen to understand. You don't listen to judge.
Thank you.
Because you have to learn the difference between listening to understand will lead you to ask questions out of curiosity to get a better understanding of the situation. And when you listen to judge, so that was what happened to you. You start to even your body language becomes traumatic to the person that's already been traumatized.
I'm putting it when you draw.
Exactly. They won't even want to talk to you again. When you come visit, even if they are home, they talk, please. Exactly. I don't want to see that because you're not adding to that. So your presence has to be healing. First of all, just come, be there. Compassion. And then listen. Just you want to understand. I'm here for you. And then ask them, what do you need? What would you like me to do for you? Because the other thing I see is we tend to want to take the front seat in people's trauma healing journey. Even as trauma experts, we don't take the front seat. Everyone is an expert on their own life. You only act as a guide, as in you help them to find their way through, but they know within themselves. So ask, what do you need? What would you like me to do for you? And they could say, oh, my favorite meal is fried rice and chicken. I would love a home cooked fried rice and chicken. And if you can make it for them, go ahead and make it for them. And they'll say, oh, okay, I would just love you to come around and we watch a movie together. Maybe a comedy or something, and you do that for them. But if you decide now, for example, oh, I want to help this person from trauma, I think if I make her pounded yam and egusi, she would love it. Then you're sitting in the front seat. She might not like pounded yam and egusi. Yeah, so be willing to listen, be willing to hear from that, to give you that information. Automatically, that brings you closer. Imagine someone that you listen to and then you do what they want. You already automatically feel bonded with you that this is my person. This person values me. This person sees me as worthy. And immediately you're their friend. So that is what as individuals you could do. Then when it gets to the community, it's basically the same thing. Avoid things that re-traumatize the person. You don't talk about it if they don't want to talk about it. If they do not raise it, don't raise it. Flow with them. Be a supportive and caring presence. Offer empathy. Be with them. Don't leave them alone. Don't give them prolonged periods of being alone that they might get into prolonged thinking and becoming more emotional about what they've gone through, be there, offer them company. What do they like to do? Something as simple as playing Scrabble with them for an hour or something would help. So that is what, as individuals in the community, you can do. Avoid re-traumatization. Don't ask if the person has an offer to share with you. Don't ask prying questions into people's lives, especially when you're not an expert. Leave it to the expert. When it also comes to community, if a community, for example, has been traumatized, like the things happening in Benue, with the killing and the problem, group therapy would be very helpful. All of them coming together because they have similar experiences to then share, to be there for each other, to comfort each other. Yes, singing together is very therapeutic. Singing with people, singing, drumming together is very, very healing. So these are simple things we can do in the community, and we generally do in Africa. And we don't even realize they're trauma-informed. Yes. So we've actually been healing ourselves in Africa. We're doing everything. Exactly. That's up here. Everything's a karaoke. It's just taking away their problem. It's regulating their nervous system. So look at it, dancing. You see, let's go show one I tell people that you're just going for trauma healing. But are just saying to you, put the things that are awful together. You know what? All these things that I've seen and I've experienced, I need to go and dance. As you just dance, shake it off. Just shake it off. Exactly. So you do those healthy things. As a community, as people, invite them to come out with you if they would like it. Oh, I'm going for this friend's. In Nigeria, we take each other to the occasion. Yeah. I'm going for this friend's wedding. I'm going for this person's naming ceremony. Would you like to come along? Okay, get dressed to let's go. And the person feels better in that environment. We eat together. Eating together is also very therapeutic. So like I said, in Africa, we do a lot of things that heal us because we eat as a community most of the time, or minimum as a family. So all those things are things we can do as a community, drawing each other together. Then when it comes to government, is a lot of work on destigmatizing mental health. Nobody wants to talk to a therapist, and if they're talking to a therapist, it's the most harsh thing in their life. Because we still use it against them. In as much as people say speak up and all, when people finally speak up, how do you look at them? That person is in a therapist. Is it work or is it this? We start to judge. And then, like I said, you listen to understand. You ask questions to understand. As if the person is also not sharing with you, give them their space. So with government, we look at destigmatization, more investment and money pumped into mental health services, into community-based mental health services. Like now in Lagos, it's a commercial nerve center. If you're not going to LASUS in the psychiatric unit or going to Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, even for psychological care, where else can you go to? There are very few private institutions where you can get the adequate treatment and care. So these are things government needs to invest in because therapy is expensive. Anywhere in the world, therapy is not cheap. Oh, it is expensive. It's not cheap, and because the training is also not cheap. So it's not, so it's something government needs to invest in. It's something they need to destigmatize. Have venues and community centers for group therapy where people can come together and discuss their childhood traumas in safe places. We need to have groups like Alcoholics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous in Nigeria because gambling currently is a big challenge. Alcohol is a big challenge. Colos and scratches, these are big challenges. And we're not having support groups for those who are battling to overcome all this.
No.
Yeah, so these are very, very important. And these are interventions, simple, based in the community, in each local government, in each ward area, that the government can set up with minimal amounts of money.
Oh, thank you very much. You're very right. My head is just going boom, 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 as usual, because speaking of that example where you made about you not having to pry into people's life without them wanting to share what they don't want to share. I think I'm a natural therapist. Okay. Let me deceive myself. I become a person that even you could like literally ask anybody, no matter how close we get, no matter how close I get to people or anyone, in as much as I love you wholeheartedly, I don't ask you questions if you don't want to share. Yeah. I'm the one who likes to do the sharing. My friends will tell you, I'm a chatterboxer. Sometimes when I don't talk, they have problem. Why aren't you talking? But when I'm comfortable with you, I talk. I'm very goofy. I'm a very goofy person. But when it comes to sharing informations, I don't say because I'm sharing, I expect you to share. You do it at your own time, because sometimes I have a few people that call me to tell me that okay, this is what they're going through and all of that. most of the time I will ask, okay, after there was a time I had to ask one person in particular, I'm like, why do you feel comfortable telling me when you have issues going on? She said, because you listen and you won't judge. That statement stuck with me for as long as this. I heard this statement 3 years ago, and till today it still resonates in my head every time, and it makes me very proud of myself. And that's why I said maybe I'm a natural therapist. Thank you. Really, like I'm the kind of person that you can talk, you can call me and just start talking, because I do it to people. I have one or two people I can do it to. Like I don't want you to listen. I don't want you to say anything. Just listen to me rant. I use the word rants because I'm saying it. The next thing I've gone to another topic. Everything that's going on in my head, I just pour it up through. That's the way my head works. So I actually resonates with what you just said and is really, really, educative. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And okay, another question. Won't stress it with too many questions, just important ones that I know that the viewers have in mind to ask you.
Good.
Are there identifiable signs or behavioral patterns that, indicates that someone was, has experienced childhood trauma? Or if there is, what should we look out for?